What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Tet Talks, where we talk about all things technology, the stuff that Tetrad cares about, and the stuff that we're best at. Today, we're joined by PJ Bishop from Sage. Thank you so much for joining us. And also hosting with us is Debbie Fernandez, who you guys know is a powerhouse on our team. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and excited to have this conversation.
Thanks for having me.
So welcome, PJ. Thank you for joining us. Sage is one of Tetrad's partners, and particularly around Intacct. But today we have PJ giving us a little bit more background information around Sage South Africa and what Sage brings to the partner community. So PJ, maybe you can start with your role at Sage, what it is you do there, just for our audience.
Thanks, Debbie. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I look after everything around relationships at Sage across Africa and Middle East. So that would be our traditional reseller partners, our tech partners or third-party integration partners, our non-traditional type partnerships like our banks and telcos that are becoming more traditional in the terms of in the way we're moving to cloud and technology. And then very important component is our accountants who make up that triage of our business that actually sells our product and supports our product.
And what is your role?
So I'm Vice President of Accountants, Partners and Alliances for Africa and Middle East.
Okay, that's great.
That's cool. You mentioned that banks are not like a more non-traditional. What makes them non-traditional and how they're moving?
So a bank, as we saw, sort of the last 5 years, it was a brick and mortar building.
Yeah.
Today, it's in the cloud.
Online, yeah.
Yeah, it's digital. It's around different ways that a bank will provide services to our common customers. Hence, I said non-traditional, but becoming more traditional. Banks are offering accounting software, payroll software, teaming up with the guys at Sage to ensure that they have a more rich, functionally rich, and a better value proposition to their customers over and above just banking.
That's really cool. It sounds like your role in the stuff you guys are doing at Sage and what you're handling is pretty intense work, eh?
Absolutely intense, but very exciting.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to see how in South Africa you can see you actually making a difference and an impact, not only for the small, medium businesses, but as these small, medium businesses become bigger. We've got great partnerships with certain banks. It's sort of small digital banks who are now a lot larger in the enterprise space. And very exciting to be around these moving parts and seeing how we fit in.
That's really cool. So obviously you need to be quite passionate about the work you do in order to handle all of that. Do you want to maybe talk to us a little bit about how you motivate yourself, some of the influences you've had, and maybe some key milestones throughout your career that have pushed you to reach this place that you're at?
Okay, so it's quite easy for me to speak about these things because I've been in Sage for 20 years.
Wow.
So I started as a 24-year-old. Straight from university. I finished my honors in accounting, and I basically taught at my previous high school where I got an opportunity at, back in the day, it was called VIP Payroll, a Softline-owned company. And from there, I just built my career from a junior consultant sitting on the telephones to implementation consultant, project consultant, and slowly moved with all the opportunities that Sage had to offer.
Yeah.
I think with regards to leadership and with what motivates me, I've been very lucky to have unbelievable leaders around me.
Yeah.
And different leaders who've joined the organization from other organizations, from an Oracle, from HP, from Microsoft, private individuals who've come in as entrepreneurs into the business who also bring their flair to the business. I think overall I enjoy having those mentors around me, and I obviously hope to be doing the same to my team.
Yeah, of course. It's always amazing to have leaders above you that can sort of share and impart a lot of knowledge to you. I have Debbie and so many other people here at Tetrad that it's always great to have conversations with them. I was actually just wondering now as well, you mentioned that you've been there for so long, so it must have been a crazy journey to see how everything changed from Sage at the beginning to what Sage Intacct and cloud services do now. How did you find like learning that new technology? Was it a challenge or did it kind of happen naturally because you were there the whole time?
So when I started, we all had desktop products. When we were on a contact center, we actually had a headpiece that we'd answer every single day through a call center dashboard. So that was quite interesting. We used to have the stiffies that used to go into the machines.
Yeah.
And then from there, we'd go to the server installations through CDs and so forth. And then we'd have a move to obviously from DOS-based systems to Windows. And now with the whole evolution of cloud and COVID being a catalyst for people adopting cloud and realizing the
Yeah.
benefits of it, we've moved along with that. Luckily, it hasn't been a difficult change for us.
Yeah.
Sage has been fully backing the way our customers reflect what they want in the market, and we
Yeah.
obviously react to that and obviously predict what would the next item be. So it hasn't been that difficult. However, I think what's more challenging is having different areas within Africa, Middle East,
Yeah.
our region that we look after at different stages of that cloud
Of
evolution
course,
or
yeah.
the digital movement. And I think that's where we, at the moment, are just staging it. And as and when a customer is ready to move from a desktop product to the cloud product, we have an offering from small, medium, accounting, and payroll.
Sure. That's
So
interesting.
it's so interesting. PJ
Yeah.
really does make me feel old. Everything that he's related right back to VIP and Oracle.
Oh, well,
Those are all in my
yeah.
history.
Shame. If it makes you feel better, I'm only 28 and I remember floppy disks, so you guys can't be that old.
Right. But you know, in our time, those were like when they came out, they were
Sure.
amazing.
Yeah.
They went from these really big floppy disks to
Yeah.
these stiffy disks. So that was quite a transformation. So, given what we've seen over the previous years, what is the vision for Sage South Africa in the next coming year? So, what are the big things that you guys are going to be focusing on that as partners can take out there to our community and our customers?
So we currently at Sage, we break down barriers so businesses can thrive. What does that mean? It means any barrier or hurdle that individuals have in the business world, whether it's statutory compliance, whether it's digitizing the business, whether it's growing quicker. Sage ensures that our software assists them to break it down and ensure that they thrive alongside, so they can focus on their core business activities and not have to worry about all the tech that sits around the business. And those who want to can also get involved with it.
Yeah.
So it's just allowing that. Our vision is obviously to move as many customers to cloud who want to go on the cloud journey and who are ready to go onto the cloud journey, and obviously ensure that we look after our existing and current desktop base. And as and when they're ripe for the picking and individuals are ready to move across, they can move across to cloud. So it's a huge cloud drive. There's every reason for customers to go into our cloud payroll and our cloud Intacct that's in the cloud. And yeah, there's 100 good reasons why. And it's obviously when the customers' businesses have matured enough or have realized that this is now the right time to move, we assist them move. So our vision is definitely cloud first.
So, PJ, cloud first is definitely the trajectory that all companies are going towards. But you know, some of the small to medium entry businesses financially can't really afford the capital outlay for big licenses. Is there any plan to help and assist a small to medium enterprise business?
So we have different offerings. So we've got a global relationship with Swoop, and they ensure that there's credit available for smaller businesses to ensure if they want to have on-prem or if they want to have their end users own the software in a cloud environment. Or a great offering is our accountants Intacct for Accountants program, where our accountants can purchase Intacct at a heavily discounted rate at 80% off, where our accountants then basically
Wow.
can provide outsourcing or the outsourcing business process outsourcing function of smaller businesses.
That's really cool.
That is really great because it's really going to give them that edge to also compete in this market with competitors that perhaps have a better financial arm wrestle. In South Africa, our small to medium enterprise, particularly small businesses, are becoming like the backbone of South Africa. So carrying a lot of the sort of lower end markets, small businesses. And what would you, from a Sage perspective, what sort of advice would you have for those small businesses in order to get their financial planning and their financial systems in order?
So I see small businesses, small, medium businesses, not just the backbone, the lifeblood. They get to every single part of the country
Yeah.
and the continent, actually. Small businesses are critical for the survival of the economy. You know, should anything happen, it's almost like your safety net of an economy that your small businesses can continue to thrive and obviously fill that space. My advice for small businesses is obviously ensure that they're compliant, ensure that they are at the right rate of growth. A lot of businesses outgrow themselves without them even knowing. to contact Sage accountants if they don't want to take their product in-house, or their business partners to ensure if they want to take it in-house. Tetrad, being a great business partner and implementation house, can assist with not only a Sage product, but other products like Salesforce and so forth to reinforce that technology around these small businesses and assist them to grow.
Sure. That's really interesting. It's interesting to hear that it's a really important part of small businesses as well, and that Sage can assist in that, because there's so many platforms out there that small businesses will usually reach for first, and Sage seems like something that's, for much bigger platforms.
Yes.
So I think that's a really important message to come out, that you guys can come in and assist small businesses, small to medium, to grow, especially with cloud services. It's not all on-site stuff anymore. It's
Absolutely.
really accessible.
And I think we're talking about our ages and the different stages, and you know what a floppy
Yeah.
or a stiffy disk is. When I was at university, all we ever heard of was pastel accounting. And pastel is one of the Sage products still in our stack. We call it Sage 200 and Sage 50 today. Still have many loyal customers on the product. What we have done over the last 18 months is all 26 universities inside South Africa, plus 180 TVET colleges, we've given Sage Business Cloud Accounting cloud software at no cost.
That's amazing.
So these students basically can have a technological or have technology by their side as they're going through their degree like we did, but not on a desktop product, on a cloud product.
Exactly.
And then on top of that, we've also created what we call Sage Student World, where we have 16,000 students who are currently on the program to become available for employment post-graduation. And I think that's what makes us different to other vendors, is we actually walking the talk, ensuring that students and people, it's embedded in individuals before they even get into the small business. He hasn't even started yet.
Because we have such high unemployment and such insane talent in South Africa, in Africa in general, that's just not, being utilized. So to hear that you guys have systems like that in place is very exciting as well. We've spoken quite a bit about the business side of things in Sage, and I'm just wondering, from your perspective personally, if you could tell us a little bit about your leadership style and your approach to managing people and some of the lessons you've learned throughout your career that got you to this place.
So a lot of lessons I've learned. Sage grew through acquisitions. So we had 10 operating companies within Africa, Middle East. There's been a lot of movement, a lot of changes, restructuring. And what I've learned from that is obviously ensuring that individuals and offerings within the company remain relevant and move or roll with the punches in terms of ensure if there's a cloud product coming, adopt it, embrace what's coming, because
you've got
that's
quite a
what your
big
customers
drive for upskilling and continuous learning.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think individuals who are coming out of universities and that to see what the landscape is all about, to understand it a bit better. But I think the relevance is the one thing, and the other thing is what I always enjoy is Simon Sinek's books. One of them start with why. Why are we changing this division? Why are we looking at a central global function for specific items? Why do we have a local go-to-market function, for example? Start with why. It's easier to explain to everyone from a Gen Z or Y or baby boomers, anywhere on the spectrum would basically understand it if you start with that why, and then you can accommodate the entire audience.
Because it's so easy to see other people doing something or see industry standards and not know where they came from, but just roll with them and be like, they're doing that, so we need to do this. But what's the actual reason behind it? So when you take a step back and actually look at it properly, see the full perspective, you can make more effective decisions.
And also going back to breaking down barriers so people and businesses can thrive. That's the why. Why are we doing this? Is to ensure that happens.
Exactly. So always keeping that main goal in mind.
How do youngsters of today that are interested in financial solutions and are up and coming, like you say, keep your eye on the ball, how do they get closer to learning more about Sage?
So Sage Student World is available to anyone out there who wants to learn Sage Business Cloud Accounting. It's at no cost for individuals at universities or any colleges. We've also brought it into high schools at the moment. So that's a good way of starting. Also a good way of starting to speak to your business partner, Tetrad. Understand Tetrad also has different academies and training groups that bring in young individuals. And I think that's critical that all of our business partners are replicating their skills matrix every year with a new intake of individuals. And then, like my journey through Sage, what I learned in the first 6 months at Sage versus what I've learned in the last 6 months is very different.
Yeah.
It's again continuous learning and ensuring that individuals get into an area or a lovely culture of technology like a Tetrad and start understanding it and living, breathing the actual atmosphere and the culture around a tech business.
For
I
sure.
think that's wonderful advice, because for me, the most important thing in South Africa is to grow organic talent. I'm really a fan of growing our young talent into the business world and being able to organically promote them in businesses. So, and we've had a couple of those, which have been really nice success stories for Tetrad, where we've brought grads in and we've put them in our Sage division in Intacct, and they're wonderful consultants. The only problem we have is that we are really growing natural talent, and a lot of people steal them from us. Our customers, and it's a joke, but I pride our team in that, because they make them such good consultants that when they're actually put on site with the customers, they love them so much they don't want to give them back.
Absolutely. And I think it's a good thing to have, the talent that you create, just replicate it and continue to replicate. They will always have a soft spot and go back to where they started. And I think it was fantastic to see Tetrad continually ensuring that this is happening in the ecosystem. I think one of my mentors said when I had to speak to her a few years ago about me moving on into another division and wanting to move into the company, her words or advice was to me that a good mentor thinks that an individual will move one day. However, the best mentors are the ones that help get you to move.
Yeah,
He wasn't
very
upset
much.
at all with that.
100%, and I think we pride ourselves in that. And
100%.
that's why I say it like a little bit tongue in cheek. We grow, Tetrad grow good talent.
Yeah.
And we've put good talent out there, and I think we're really proud to say that. But
Yeah, I think the two sort of main aspects of Tetra that stand out to me is, one, how much we learn and grow here, and two, how much effort they put into the culture to get us to stay here. Because you don't want to leave Tetrad, which is also an amazing sort of part of the journey. But like you said, it's, as a leader, I think you should put a lot of focus into getting the people beneath you to become better than you, to be ready to move on to the next step.
Absolutely. And all of my direct reports are directors in our company, learning services, our professional services, our partners and alliances director, and our accountants director all came from Sage and grew in Sage and basically grew organically through the different ranks. And and they're all better than me. And they're all fantastic. And
we've been discussing how much you've learned and how much emphasis you guys put on continuous learning, but at the same time, how many people have stayed in the company for so many years. So I suppose that speaks to the culture at Sage and how you guys work over there. It must be a great place to work.
Absolutely. And I think hand in hand, our partner network also have very similar cultures to Sage. And that's why when we work with Tetrad, partners like Tetrad, it makes it so easy to do business with them, because they have these similar philosophies around how we work. I mean, even today here, being part of the whole environment, seeing your offices being embedded in what you guys are about immediately the minute you walk in the front door. That's fantastic. And that's what we try and do at Sage as well.
That's cool.
And I think it's really great being part of the partner ecosystem. One of our very interesting success stories as Tetrad is we work with another partner, Sage partner, and deliver services to our partner. And we have such a great relationship. So I guess the point that I'm making is the partner ecosystem in Sage, it's like a little family, actually. It's not competitive. We're not out there trying to steal each other's lunch. We work together.
And also, you saying that when I took over the channel in 2019, about 3 months before COVID hit, we were sitting in a situation where our business was just meeting all our new business partners, see where everyone fitted in. Business partners were product specific, and that became quite difficult because I was an X3 a Sage X3 product implementer. I was an Intacct implementer. I was a payroll implementer.
Yeah.
Now, to Debbie's point, it's amazing how that whole culture of everyone helps each other now.
That's
And I
great.
see now other or competitors and other vendors, people are trying to take each other's lunch, and all we're doing is basically reinforcing,
Yeah.
helping people. I mean, I've got current visibility of huge projects on Intacct where there's 3 or 4 different teams from different partners with different skill sets
Sure.
sitting at the customers. So at the end of the day, it's to make sure the customer is successful
Exactly.
and obviously the ecosystem thriving.
100%. And before we wrap up, we spoke quite a bit about how some young talent can get involved more in Sage, learn more about Sage. And I think that's definitely a super important thing to do. It seems like there's a lot of opportunity to grow your career in the Sage space. But outside of that, I'm wondering if you have any last advice for future leaders in the tech space, tech and finance specifically, that you could maybe impart.
So first of all, cloud is here.
Yeah.
Generic cloud or hybrid cloud, whatever people want to call it. There is a bit of a gray area at the moment of where these technologies are going. From all my recent trips to Europe and the US, it's most definitely cloud. And people who have landed in the cloud space, that is your destination. So keep an eye on that. Again, roll with the punches.
Yeah.
And then from a leadership perspective, remain relevant. In your current role, ask every day, how much value are you bringing to this business, to individuals around you? Are the people around you better than you? Because you need to make sure that they continue to be better than
Yeah.
you, like you mentioned,
Yeah.
but also ensure that you continue your own development
100%.
and remain relevant in the same
Awesome.
breath.
Oh, that's great.
PJ, just on the back of your advice around cloud, because cloud is definitely something here to stay. But another buzzword in the market at the moment is AI. What is happening in the AI space with Sage?
So Sage has partnered with Microsoft Copilot. It's currently being embedded, and it was launched last week in the UK and the US. So all of our products will have Copilot in, which is basically an AI bot that learns from different activities within the product.
Wow.
As an example, in our accounting products, if you have an individual or an accountant doing transactional work every single day, mapping journals, mapping transactions, and so forth, what AI does, it learns from that person doing that work and then basically says, oh, these are the different outliers from what the general language model is.
Yeah.
And what it learned where a travel expense goes, and they've put it under a housing expense or whatever it might be.
Sure.
It comes out as an outlier. And that's how
Sure.
AI starts recognizing these trends within different
Yeah.
businesses. And each business has their own little anomalies and
Yeah.
bits and pieces. So what Copilot as a solution plugged into our products will be specific to those companies within the business itself. And it's also plugged in to what we call the Sage network. Suppliers, customers, everyone, there's validations that there's no fraud happening. People can validate that there's a supplier, there's a purchase
Yeah.
order coming in. So these are all the different things that are happening with regards to AI. Even this morning, I saw quite an important from procure to pay, where we've got AP automations, account payable automations, fantastic software, young people getting stuck in. We're pairing them up with other business partners
Yeah.
just so that they don't even know how powerful it is
That's
that
crazy.
they have these solutions available.
Because AI, like you said, is a big buzzword, and I think everyone's trying to find every possible way to inject AI into what they do, and sometimes it's not the most effective, but it sounds like you guys have found some ways to really supercharge Sage with real effective, useful technology.
Yeah, and I think whenever I get into discussions with friends and colleagues, and keeping this, what I've said earlier, the relevance of your role,
Yeah.
you don't want an individual to stay processing transactions every single day. You
Yeah.
want their value and their knowledge of what they are doing to
Exactly.
be part of your business and your offering to
Yeah.
your customers. So you're basically enhancing that person's job. And that's maybe, in addition to my answer before, was keep relevant by ensuring that you make sure that whatever AI is taking over from your current day's work, that you create extra value for your customers on the other side.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I still want to see someone. I still want to chat to someone eventually.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see a journal file and start going through manually if I know that can be done. I'd rather have AI do that, and I'll have a lovely chat with Debbie.
Yeah.
And case in point, yesterday someone coined it in a summit, and they were saying AI is not here to take away your job. AI is here to help you spend more personal time with your end customer that really matters.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for this conversation. I think it was super interesting. I really appreciate you coming on and taking out the time to be with us today.
Hey, thank you for
I
having
think it was
me.
really cool.
Yeah,
Guys,
thank you.
thank you so much. That was TED Talks. Stay tuned for more. We're putting out an episode every month, and we've got a couple cool ones that we've put out recently. So check out our LinkedIn and YouTube pages for more. Thanks.